Hey book readers, this is the B-Side Book Reviews, and today we're going to do something a little different today. This is actually one of those Reader Digest condensed books when we have 4 stories in one book. And so we're going to do things a little different. I'm going to kind of do 4 different reviews, not really reviews, more of a summary I suppose. And what we have here are these stories: Morning Glory, Prospect, Toy Soldiers, and Trail. You might have read them, you might not have. They came out in the late 80s. This is volume 3, 1989. So the spoiler alert is kind of medium. So anyway, let's take a look at these and grab yourself some coffee if I don't spill it on myself, and we'll take a look at these 4 stories. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, back in the 1980s, the magazine Reader's Digest came up with the idea of slapping 4 or 5 novels into one hardback and selling it off as multiple stories for the price of one. Whoa, what a bargain. Now, I borrowed this book from my brother around 30 years ago and just never bothered to give it back, which is a service to him. He didn't need it cluttering up his office. If you've seen his office, you would know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, this will be the first story in our book here. It's called Morning Glory, and it is written by the author, LaVyrle Spencer. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever met a LaVyrle before. Okay, here we go. Will Parker has fallen on rough times. Not only was he abandoned as a child, left to be a drifter, but now he loses his current job at a Georgia sawmill when his boss finds out that he's done hard time. Now apparently, in the year 1941, only the most wholesome of men can work at a sawmill. So, what's poor Will to do? Well, he goes and checks the help wanted ads. Let's see. There's not much, but oh, wait a minute. Some lady is looking for a husband. No previous experience or background check required. Now, when Will goes and checks out this prospect, he finds Ellie. She's a 24-year-old widow with 1 kid on her leg, another in her arms, and one that's still inside her. Oh my gosh, run Will, run! Well, now, hold on. Let's think about this. The job provides room and board, the hours aren't bad, and there are no union dues to worry about. Okay. Why not? Now, Will looks around Ellie's place and he finds old junk cars that could be salvaged, a cow for milk, bees for honey, and chickens for eggs. Yeah, a man could live a good life here. I do declare. However, Will's not the only man living a good life hereabouts. Yes, there's that mangy old varmint that ran him off from the sawmill, Overmeyer. Of course, he's a happily married man. And the reason he's so happily married comes in the form of a 34-year-old local chick named Lula. Not his wife, by the way. Now, back in 1941, if you're a woman over 30 living in a small southern town and not hitched, you're either the town librarian or the town floozy. Well, Lula wasn't much one for reading, so, But when she learns that this Will feller is fresh out of prison, she gets all flustered. In her mind, a guy who's been locked up for a while is just a sexual explosion waiting to happen. And she wants to be the one that lights his fuse. Now, the fact that he's all living up with Ellie doesn't discourage her in the least. because in her mind, along with most of the town folk, Ellie is as crazy enough to belong in a 1970s Helen Reddy song. So, when Lula finds Will strolling about town, she molds up her beehive and slaps on that tightest blouse she can find. With her buttons on her blouse about to burst, she puts her move on our hero, telling him that she can do things to him that 24-year-old crazy Ellie couldn't even dream of doing. Now personally, my answer to the 34-year-old would be, can you make yourself 10 years younger? I have a feeling that would have been the end of that conversation right there. Of course, I would ask her that after she has had time to tell me, well, what the things she's going to do to me just might be. Now, that's just common courtesy. However, Will blows her off and heads off to the library to learn a thing or two about beekeeping. Here he gets all chummy with the other old maid in town, Miss Beasley, who just happens to be the local librarian. Yes, sir. Yes, Miss Beasley is a kindly old broad who has always felt sorry for Ellie. And just why does everyone think this young lady is so crazy? Well, goodness me, she had done something that was downright unforgivable in those days. She was born out of wedlock. Well, actually, the only ones that had an issue with her questionable conception was her Bible-thumping evangelist grandfather and her self-righteous crazy grandmother. Yes, they were so mortified by their daughter's whoring ways that they kept Ellie and her mother indoors with the shades pulled tight in shame. Yeah, that might make a little girl a bit crazy. A regular angel baby or a ruby red dress or even a Delta Dawn maybe. Now, Ellie was kept shut in until her holier-than-thou grandfather met his demise in the bed of a woman who charged by the hour. Well, Ellie pretty much up and married the first guy she met. And with 2 kids and 1 on the way, she loses him at the hands, or at the stingers, of a swarm of angry bees. Well, never fear, 'cause now she's got Will. And Will's a good man. Well, Will just overlooked the fact that he did time for killing some working girl in a whorehouse when he whacked her upside the head with a booze bottle. 'Cause, you know, these things happen sometimes. So, Will and Ellie get hitched. And before they have a chance to do the marital dirty, Will delivers Ellie's baby daughter. Not really the introduction to my new wife's private parts I prefer, but a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Yes, sir. Gotta do it. Okay. And of course, in 1941, a man's gotta go off and fight the war. Now, when Will comes back a war hero after getting blown up by them pesky Japanese, Lula is even more turned on by him. And she's ready to blow up all over him. Wow, a man in uniform with medals. However, before she can explode all over Will, she's strangled by one of her local lovers who didn't make the war and has no uniform. And the mangy varmint that's done in the town hussy tries to frame our local war hero for the deed. Oh dear, what a mess! Luckily, the old librarian comes to their aid with a lawyer friend of hers that she's known since high school. Seems this lawyer friend has been wanting to turn the old librarian's pages ever since they were youngins. But this is going to be a tough case. Now here's Will, he's already down in the books as a convicted killer. And he did have motive to kill the town hussy. Well, sort of. She was a She was a bit of a pain in the neck. And of course, with a wife and 3 stepkids now in his life, Will might have reason to want to return to prison. So, does Will go back to the big house? Or does he go back to Ellie's house? You know, that's a good one. Reckon I'm stumped. Yes. What